So John, I suppose the best place to start is tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get involved with Aspray?
Okay, so my name's John Strange. I'm the Managing Director at Aspray Glasgow West. I got involved with Aspray 2016. I was looking for an opportunity in the building industry, the construction industry, and came across them. They're a franchise, and their main purpose is helping people, and that kind of aligned quite nicely with where I was in life at the time. They're an insurance claims management company, as sexy as that sounds, but ultimately what we do is we help people when they need to make a claim on their insurance, their buildings insurance. So that's fire, flood, escape of water, whether it's your neighbour up the stairs that's flooded you and your ceilings come down, or whether your entire house has been burnt to the ground. If you need to make a claim on your insurance, then you can engage with our service, which is a free of charge service, and we'll take care of everything for you from start to finish. It's a sort of all-encompassing one-stop shop, if you like.
So tell us about how somebody would go about making that sort of claim. Do they contact you directly? Do they have to go through MD else? What's the best way to do it?
So they can reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. We've got an 0800 number as well, and an email address that they can get in touch with us. I suppose ultimately the first thing that goes through somebody's head when disaster strikes is, I need to phone my insurance company, which is true. You do still need to phone your insurance company, but the next call after that should be the call to us to say, I need your help, and we'll be there within 24 hours, and we'll take care of everything from then on in.
And who does this suit? Is this anybody, houses, flats, all that sort of stuff?
Anybody. So no matter how small it may seem to you, or how large it may seem to you, whether you're a homeowner that's owner-occupier, whether you're a landlord, whether you're a commercial owner or landlord, you could be living overseas and you could be renting your property out. It doesn't really matter. Anybody, no matter what age, shape, size, whatever, anyone that owns a property is a potential client that we can help. So it's open to everyone. There
seems to be a bit of a stigma around making insurance claims and stuff like that, but that it's a very complicated process. You're going to be filling out books and books and books of paperwork. It's going to take months and months and months. Can you talk us through the process of making a claim or working through Aspray?
I don't have to. You've hit a nail on the head there. It's a complicated process. Yes, there's a lot of work involved, but that's the kind of main reason for engaging in our service. We do this every day, so we're experts in this field. We know what we're doing, we know the pitfalls, we know the right things to say and the right things to do. It is a complex and complicated industry, but that's why we're here, to avoid you having to, because you'll probably still have a job to go and do, or a business to run, or a family to look after. You don't have the time to fill in forms, to engage in contractors, to meet an insurance company, to meet their loss adjuster, to argue with them, to agree or disagree with them. Most people don't have the time, never mind the knowledge, to do something like that, and that's where we're key to that, because as soon as you engage our services, you're our number one priority. We effectively become you for the period of time during the claim. But it's complicated.
And does that cost the person any money or anything like that?
You will have a policy excess to pay, much like you would have in any claim on insurance.
Treat me like an idiot here, right? Policy excess.
You really want me to do that?
Break it down.
Right.
Policy excess.
Okay, so a policy excess is part of the contract that you agree to with your insurance company. So when you make a claim, they will always deduct a policy excess from that. So whether that be a household claim or a car claim or whatnot, there'll be a policy excess to pay. They range from £50 to £500 in general. Some of them are a lot higher than that, but it's the first thing you have to pay to your insurance company when you make a claim. That's the only thing you will ever pay as a homeowner. You will pay that at the start, and that's it. Our service is free of charge, providing we manage the whole claim start to finish, and we'll use our appointed vetted contractors to carry out the reinstatement work. Providing we do all of that, we don't charge you a penny for our service.
Brilliant. And you mentioned there about it helps folk who don't have any time. You deal with a lot of that stuff as well. It's obviously free. What other benefits, if you were to say bullet point benefits for the customer, what would those main ones be?
Well, the main benefits is time and our knowledge, really. You can try your best to get on with your life. Now, that's difficult if your house has been flattened and it's been burnt to the ground, but we'll take care of alternative accommodation for you and all that kind of stuff. So any contents issues that you've got, so all your sofas and your tellies and stuff like that, we can help with all of that. I suppose bullet point benefits would be, we do this every day, so we know exactly how to propose a settlement to an insurance company. We've also got extensive construction industry knowledge as well, so we know that every property is different. You know, you could be living in a tenement with a lath and plaster ceiling, or you could be living in a new build property that's just timber, stud, plasterboard, Artex. Sometimes Artex can contain asbestos. People don't think about these things, so anyone that's listening that's got an Artex ceiling, if you have to pull that ceiling down, chances are you should get it tested, because it might contain asbestos. People don't think about those things, you know. That's where our expertise and our knowledge and our experience comes into it. That's probably the key bullet points, is time.
And you mentioned there about different properties. Is the process any different depending on where you live?
Not really, no. You know, a claim's a claim at the end of the day. If damage has happened, it's happened. It doesn't matter what type of property you live in. Obviously, different properties might carry different types of insurance. Sometimes you've got listed buildings that require a certain type of insurance. One of the key things I would suggest that people maybe listening think of is, am I covered for everything? We can manage a claim from start to finish and return your property to its pre-incident condition. No bother. However, if you're not fully covered for certain things, then that makes the process more difficult. And people don't realise that. People tend to go for the cheapest option of insurance all the time. Now, I'm not an insurance company and I'm not here to sell insurance, but I would recommend that everyone looks at their insurance policy, especially on renewal time, and make sure you're covered for a few key things. Number one would be trace and access cover, or trace and locate, they sometimes call it.
Again,
let me explain that to you, don't worry. I'm ahead of you. Trace and access, or trace and locate, is a section of the policy that will cover finding the problem. Right. So for example, you've got a beautiful bathroom, it's fully tiled, shower, bath, everything's all tiled, and you can't see anything, but it's leaking into the kitchen below. All right, well, what do? The only way, I think it's coming from underneath the bath, but I'm not sure. So you're going to have to burst open the tiles at the bath to get in to find and fix the leak. Now, your insurance will cover you for damage caused by the leak. So the kitchen ceiling, the kitchen floor, etc., all that. But it won't cover you for the damage that you've just done to the bath, unless you have trace and access cover. Right. And that's a key thing to make sure you have, because they'll then pay for the damage to find the leak. So that's the first thing I would say that you have to do. The second thing would be matching items. Now people will say, well, what does that mean? So again, I'll use bathroom as an example. Say you've got a fully tiled bathroom, top to toe, floors, the whole lot, maybe even the ceiling, and one wall is damaged, but that tile is no longer in existence.
Right.
If you have a matching items clause in your policy, the insurance company will only pay for the damaged wall. They won't pay for the other three walls. Right. Now, they'll give you a minor contribution towards it because they're dead nice that way, but they won't cover all four walls. So make sure you've got no matching items exclusion. And the big one for now, especially the current climate that we're in, is underinsurance. People are expected to know what the rebuild value of their property is. Now, that could be a 1-bedroom flat or a 9-bedroom mansion. If you take a policy out with an insurance company, you're expected to know what your rebuild value is. So you put a number down. It's £250,000 to rebuild that house. Mm-hmm. If you say that, and it turns out that the rebuild value of your house is £400,000, then you're underinsured. Right. So if your claim's £10,000, they're only going to pay out a portion of that £10,000 because you're underinsured. most people aren't going to know what the rebuild value of their house is. Now, it's not the sale value or the purchase price, it's the rebuild value. That's a key difference. People think, well, I paid 142,000, so it's 142,000. Well, no, be careful. So reaching out to an insurance broker is probably a good idea, and asking for their advice on your rebuild value. Insurance companies are really clamping down on that side of the business just now, so be careful.
And you mentioned you talked about flooding and that in the bathroom. And at the start you mentioned a few other things that you cover. Can you tell us more about other covers that come under that?
Aye, well, we've experienced in the years I've been doing this, I've done thousands of claims, and I would say the majority are what you would call escape of water. So burst pipe, flooding from above, overflowing bath, etc, etc. But we do have fire. We do have impact. Excuse me. So we're doing one just now where a car veered off the road and just ploughed straight into the front of the house.
Wow.
And then went on fire. So that's an impact damage claim, but it's also fire as well. You know, floods obviously they're that's weather related. Storm as well. We're coming into that period of time, especially in sunny Scotland, where things get cold and windy, and roofs can be damaged. So your tiles blow off your roof, and the snow thaws and the water comes in. So that's a storm damage claim. So anything, storm, fire, flood, escape of water, impact, criminal damage as well. Sometimes you'll get people that will break in somewhere and just trash a place. So as long as you're covered for that, then we can manage that for you.
Fantastic. And I suppose the next thing I think people would probably want to know is, you know, we talked about differences. There isn't any difference, in claims depending on where you live. But in terms of different problems they're claiming for, is the process any different for that?
The process is the same. Obviously, the questions that you need to answer, or that we would need to answer on your behalf, will vary depending on the peril. They call it the peril. So whether that's the fire, the flood, etc. If, for example, you're a landlord and you've got a tenanted property, then the questions will be different, because they'll need to know, well, when did the tenant move in? Has the tenant been on holiday? Or if it's an empty property, you know, has it been checked? Again, everybody check your policies, because there'll be an exclusion in your policy stating empty properties need to be checked X amount of times. I think in general it's 30 days. So if you leave a property empty for any more than 30 days, you have to prove that you've been checking on it. But the process is complicated, like I said earlier, but it is kind of the same. There's the damage. Are we covered? This is what's required to get the property back to the way it was beforehand, as swiftly as possible.
And the final thing I want to ask is, where can people find you? Where can people contact Aspray if they need to make a claim?
Online's probably the best bet. So just stick Aspray Glasgow West into Google, or John Strange on LinkedIn. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've not joined the TikTok revolution yet, but
it's the way
it
to
seems to be the way forward. But it's a difficult one. Let's face it. I love what I do, right? Because I've got extensive knowledge in the building industry, but I love helping people as well. It's hard sometimes. You're meeting people at one of the worst points in their life, and they're stressed and they're upset and they're angry. But taking them through that journey and helping them and making sure they get everything that they deserve, it's extremely rewarding. So TikTok thus far has been a little bit too jocular for us, you know.
Fair.
Not that we're all stiff and all that kind of stuff, but we've stayed away from TikTok for that specific reason. Plus, people don't want to see me dance.
So website, social media,
so
all that
just
stuff.
Aspray /Glasgow-West. Social medias, Aspray Glasgow West, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then John Strange on LinkedIn. And listen, service is free, but so is advice. Sometimes we'll go to a property and there's no claim, or the claim is below the policy excess value. It's all about giving advice. Quick story, I gave advice to a family about 4 years ago. There was no claim, but I really helped them come to terms with the whole thing. And since then, I've done nearly 15 claims for members of their extended family. So, you know, not that I'm saying I deserve that, but the fact that I gave that free help and advice stuck in that person's mind, and they thought, this, despite what people think, this is a good guy. So
Brilliant. So you spoke about the process and how it can be quite complicated, but what's that process like for the homeowner, for the person making the claim?
It's dead simple. The process for us is very complicated and lengthy, but the process for you, the homeowner or business owner, is dead simple. It's one phone call to us. We'll take care of absolutely everything for you. That's all you really need to do.
And something I found to kind of lean off a personal experience is, if you need to talk to somebody over the phone, sometimes you're thrown around. You know what I mean? You speak to 16 different people. From what I understand, this is you get one point of call for Aspray, and that's who you deal with, and it just makes everything else simpler.
100%. You'll get an email address, and you'll have a dedicated loss assessor, of which I am one also as well. And then I've got a team of loss assessors that work with us. So, and we work off of mobile phones. So you'll get that person's mobile phone number. There is an 0800 number, which is manned 24/7, that you can phone at any point in time if you so wish. However, having that one-on-one personal contact, and that person will keep you, you know, we don't want to keep you updated too much. We don't want to go, oh, by the way, we pulled another wall down today. But we will keep you updated on the process, and you can see pictures. You'll obviously have a bit of input on choices. Like, for example, if the tiles that were on the wall don't exist anymore, you can pick a different one. You'll have an allowance, all that kind of stuff. But as far as you having to take control and manage anything as a homeowner, nothing at all. You just leave it up to us, and you can contact us as much or as little as you want.
John, level with me. Right? It's free.
It's free, yes.
Come on.
So we're an FCA regulated business, so I have to say this correctly. Our service is completely free of charge, providing we manage the claim from start to finish.
Okay.
So there isn't a catch. It is a free service. We bill the insurance company for the work that we carry out, and you don't have to pay anything. So no, I'll level with you. There isn't a catch.
And is that one of the challenges you face? Kind of people thinking there's a catch to something.
Always, like nothing's ever for free. Obviously, that's the people's perception of life in general. Our biggest challenge is actually people knowing that we exist and then understanding what we do and how we do it. We struggle. You know, it's a difficult business to advertise. I've had £1 for every time somebody said, "Oh, John, I wish I knew about that last year." So, so getting our message out there and trying to tell people what we do in an interesting way is difficult. So we do quite a lot of work in the community, and we've got some sponsorship and some partnership deals with St Mirren Football Club. Brilliant. We're on their shorts, and we're a title sponsor of Glasgow Clan Ice Hockey. So that was twofold. That was a bit of advertising, a bit of brand awareness, but also a bit of community work as well. I'm big on community. I do a lot of charity work personally as well. So tying in with clubs like St Mirren and the Glasgow Clan, who are massive on community,
completely,
was a no-brainer.
So they're the perfect partners for you then? Perfect
partners for us. Perfect partners. They've got the same belief system that we do, which is everybody's in business to be successful. Everybody's in business to turn a profit. But if you can utilise that to help people and give back to the community, go for it.
So am I right in saying then that Aspray will handle like all the construction stuff? So, you know, when you say it's one phone call, it's just a case of the homeowner gives you the keys and then you get to work? Pretty much.
You hand the keys over to us and we'll take care of everything. So the process, briefly, on day one is that we'll have a chat, we'll survey the damage, take the keys from you, or if you're still living in the property and it's in one particular room, we'll arrange access and whatnot. We'll then deal with your insurance company, any appointed loss adjuster that they put in place, and we'll put together a schedule of works, and then we'll put in one of our appointed contractors to carry those works out. You'll get some choices to be made, etc., colour of walls, all that kind of stuff. And then once the contractor's finished and snagged, we'll meet up with you again. You'll sign the works off, and then that's it.
That's you.
That's it, done. I suppose where we really help is if you phone your insurance company on day one, 9 times out of 10 they're going to say away and get 3 quotes from 3 separate contractors. By engaging in our service, you don't have to do that because we're authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority for claims handling. We take care of all that for you. We don't go and get quotes. We've got a scoping tool that will put together the schedule of works, and we'll use that to negotiate with the insurance company. And like I said, we'll then bring in the contractors to carry out the work. So you really don't have to do anything.
And the contractors you guys have, I'm assuming that's an ever-growing.
Yeah, obviously the bigger the business gets, the more quality contractors we need in our stable. So yeah, I suppose if there's any contractors listening to this that are looking to potentially get involved, get in touch with us and we'll have a chat.